Okay, right, great. So we're just going through a few questions that we've had in, things that people want to know more about.
Yeah.
And we've just had one from Bob saying, how do I use a hydrometer?
Oh, dear me. Probably one of the most popular questions that we actually get. How do I use a hydrometer? Basically, what is a hydrometer? A hydrometer measures the gravity of the liquid. So the thicker the liquid, the higher the reading will be. Now, when we talk about thickness in the liquid, things that make it thick are things like sugar, malt extract, grape juice, things like bananas, raisins, anything, chocolate, anything that has a sugary content in it will increase the gravity of the liquid. Now, liquid, if it's just water, would read on a hydrometer 1.000. So if we now add sugar to it, we're going to make that reading higher and higher. And that's going to go up, depending on what we're making, up to anything like 1.090, being the thickest probably product that we do, which is where we're using about 7 kilos of sugar. So what we're then looking for is the yeast to convert the sugar to alcohol. I know this is sounding a bit long-winded, but as the yeast converts the sugar to alcohol, alcohol is thinner than water. And therefore, the sugary content in that liquid will start to disappear and will be replaced with alcohol. So the hydrometer that we would have in the container would drop further and further and further into the liquid. So if we understand those basics, then all we need to do when we're doing a hydrometer reading is to drop the hydrometer into our container, and then we read across the liquid line.
Okay.
And if you look at the guide that we've got on hydrometers, you'll actually get a lot more information on specifics on that. But as a general rule, the hydrometer measures the gravity of the liquid and will then tell us how much alcohol we've got. We can also use the drop on that hydrometer to work out the alcohol content. So as it drops more and more into the liquid, we can then work out how much alcohol we've actually got present in the liquid. And again, that's on the guide.
So would the hydrometer drop a lot lower then for something like gin than it would for beer?
Well,
I don't know.
No, because what we do is, for wine, we have a much higher starting point, i.e. the hydrometer is going to be sticking out more because we want more alcohol. Beer, slightly less. Spirit actually is slightly more than wine, but you've got different varying scales, and the amount of drop is whether, so for example, gin, you would end up with more drop than you would with beer. So it's the actual movement on that hydrometer as to how far it drops in the liquid as to how strong it is. Also, just to totally confuse everything, we do what's called a spirit hydrometer. And the spirit hydrometer is from 0 to 100, and that will measure the alcohol strength of a liquid. But it only works on distilled product. It won't work on wine or beer. It has to be a distillation.
Okay.